Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. I've come live today and we'll discuss about the Indian markets. Last scenario, in the last video upstream which we have discussed, we'll talk about that and what all levels have come. And also, we'll talk about what is going to happen in the Indian markets in view of the crisis going on, global crisis which is going on. So, we'll wait for another 5-10 minutes for other participants to join. Once they join, we'll start with the stream. I hope my screen is visible and I am audible. If yes, please say yes in the chat window. If I am audible and my screen is visible, अनुज जी गुड आफ्टरनून. आप एक बारी कंफर्म कर दीजिए मेरा स्क्रीन विजिबल है और मैं ऑडिबल हूँ सर. उतनी देर मैं चार्ट्स मार्क कर लेता हूँ निफ्टी का. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. We'll wait for some time for others to join and then we will start with the live. Okay, please say yes in the chat window, those who have joined, so that I can come to know that who all has joined. I thought I'll share the link also in the chat window so that people can join, the followers can join, and they get a notification that I am live. Okay. Can I start, sir? If my voice is visible and voice is audible and okay, let's start. Now we'll talk in brief. अगर पहले आपके questions हैं तो I'll take on the questions first if you want. If you want me to start with the analysis directly, I will start with the analysis that way. So whatever you want, I will do it that way, sir. Okay, I will start with the analysis first. First, we were talking last in the stream. We had spoken about Nifty and what is the outcome of the Nifty and what is going to happen in the markets. And also we spoke about the detail about the markets, how the global turmoil is affecting the Indian markets also, and how the FIs have sold in the FI activity has how taken place in the Indian markets. So last time I gave an update that bigger picture is accumulation phase will come. Right now we should wait. We should wait and sit our cash and not to get into the buying of stocks at these levels because the market's uncertainty is still there. The Nifty support, which was at 22,800 levels, still today also Nifty has come down to Nifty has stopped at somewhere around 22,800 levels. And if you had seen my last 3-4 videos, I have been saying that we got rejected from this point of 26,500 levels, and then we tried to recover in this with this candle, but we were not able to break the previous high, and then again a bearish trend followed. So last 3 weeks again I've been saying there was a support which was at 24k, which also got taken away by the bears, and now we have again given a closing somewhere about 22,800, which is again a zone of support if we see the history of the candlestick patterns and on the chart. So I will just hide Ichimoku so that you don't have any confusions regarding the support and resistance level. So this zone of support, this zone of 22,800, you can also say that it is a temporary zone of support for the for the bears. Why I say temporary zone of support? Because there is no strong visible buying which has come over here. So I will just write TEMP support levels at 22,800. 22,800. Okay. Now this is a temporary zone of support for the bulls. Why? Also, we have seen that we'll see a momentum, a long, good amount of bearish momentum, strong bearish momentum is coming in the markets. The FIs are selling, the markets are taking a swing of plus minus 2% every day with the cause of the news. If you see, the global risk sentiment is so high, so there are sell-offs. Their FI behavior is that they are moving their assets to more safer zone. Now safe zone was gold, but we have seen selling in gold and silver also. So there is an heavy FI selling which is coming up in the banking and financial sector. Market is somewhere about 8% down since the war began. So it's one today we complete 1 month of the war and we are about 8 to 9% down from the original levels. Crude oil prices have jumped 45% in the recent days, and we are touching some. Crude is now touching somewhere around 108, $110 a barrel, where it was somewhere around 50 to 53. So FIs have pulled out about somewhere around 34,000 crore after the war began. So these figures have touched 40,000 crore now. Because in the last week update I said the FIs have pulled up out 34,000 crore. So I was checking the data yesterday. It has now reached to 40,000 crore in the last 1 month. The FIs have pulled out from the Indian markets. And if we talk about the first quarter, that is till March, we still have about 2-3 days for the quarter ending. The FIs have sold somewhere around 53,000 crore rupees का सामान इंडियन मार्केट्स में उन्होंने बेचा. The daily selling which is continuing, it is somewhere around 5,000 crores per day what FIs are selling per day in the Indian markets. So this is having a heavy, we can say a heavy exodus of FIs is taking place from the Indian markets. If you see 5,000 crores of equity being sold, or the selling is taking place per day recently, which has been witnessed on the Indian markets. All this data is NSE official data, nothing from the XYZ source. What the end of the day data which is available, I have collected this data from there. And about 32 lakh crore of the wealth has been wiped out from the Indian markets in last 2-3 weeks. What is there? Over 4,400 stocks have fallen in double digits. So somewhere around 14 lakh crore loss has been suffered by the Indian investors in the last 20 days or so in the Indian equity markets. So this is what is happening in the Indian markets, where FIs are dumping. The rupee is at record low. Yesterday it was somewhere around 95.04 per dollar. So US markets have dipped for 5 weeks together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. So the 5th week also the US markets have taken a dip. So when I say all this will have an impact on the Indian markets also. My voice is okay. I am getting a update in the chat that my voice is not audible, or it is not good. Is my voice okay, or is there still a problem in my voice? Okay. Now, when we talk about all this, we feel that the Indian markets will also take a dip, and we will also see that the Indian markets are also feeling the heat of the scenario which is building up in the global scenario. And so I just thought that I will take a quick update on, give a quick update on the what is happening in the global markets and how the Indian markets will suffer in the present scenario. So in front of me I have a chart of Nifty, and I have marked the support and resistance zone. So while marking the support and resistance zones, I'll just clear the drawing. Yeah. So now is the chart visible to everybody? Please say yes in the. Please say yes so that मेरे को पता लग जाए कि भाई the chart is visible. Okay, now what is happening? I feel that the global markets are now decline, and this is the zone of support, temporary zone of support for the Nifty. So if we break 22,800 on the weekly closing basis, we will move to 21,700 levels on the Nifty on the weekly time frame. So once we hit these levels, we will see a great amount of support over here. In historical zone of support is at 22,900 or 21,900 levels. So this is how I feel that we should, this will be my zone of accumulation for the Indian markets, and I will accumulate any good stocks at these levels of 22,000, 21,900, between 21,700. So still I will urge everybody to wait, because the Indian markets have been are suffering from the Middle East oil shock, global panic affected. Oil imports are affected by 85-90%. Inflation fears are there. Economic slowdown risk is there. Market is in undergoing correction. And there are other factors such as massive FI selling, which I was talking about 5,000 crores per day they are selling in the Indian markets. Total outflow is about 1.27 lakh crores. 12 billion withdrawn from the Indian markets, and $12 billion withdrawn from the Indian markets in the single month. This is the main reason what is fueling the drop down in the Indian markets from a level of this of 26,900 or 26,500 to 22,800 where we are now, and I expect another 1,000 points fall. So I've been predicting these falls from somewhere around 26k levels, where I had given in my WhatsApp group also, and openly I had tweeted also that I am sitting on cash. So maybe it was a wise decision to book profits, and I also sold the stocks which were in loss. So net gain for this financial year. But now I'm sitting on cash. I'm waiting for these levels of 21,700, 21,900 to come on the Indian markets, where I can start adding in tranches. I will add the stocks in tranches, and also when I say I will add in tranches, it is not that I will do the buying as soon as we hit 21,900. I will wait for another breakdown which is going to take place. So this is just an update. The worst sectors which have been hit are the banking and financial sectors, auto, realty, mid cap, small cap stocks. The strong sectors which I'm looking at is oil and gas, L&T. They might benefit from the rising oil prices. And again, the technical levels, I will simply give a sum up that the technical levels remain somewhere around 21,700, 21,900, again zone of support. The chart shows a downtrend. Downtrend is not over. The bearish key signals remain: continuous FI selling, weak rupee, oil prices rising, global uncertainty. Only positive thing remains that the valuations now are fair. That the valuations when our markets were somewhere trading at about these levels, our valuations were expensive. At these levels, the market valuations are fair, and some stocks are showing strength. So this is an update. Thank you everybody for joining, and I just gave a quick update on what is my plan. And same way I will come next week and talk about the other scenarios also. Thank you everybody for joining.